Goes up, throws on the run, has Eckler on the near sideline. Eckler breaks a tackle for the pylon. Touchdown, Chargers!
Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the director. Just got done watching episode 1 of Hard Knocks Los Angeles, and honestly, it's kind of surreal having the Chargers featured on the hit HBO show. I've been watching the show for so many years, and it's been awesome getting to know these teams, these players, these coaches on a human level, going behind the scenes and seeing what happens, what it takes to operate a football team in the offseason, right before kickoff. And to have the Chargers featured this year is still kind of surreal. It's like I've been watching all these other teams be featured for so long, and to finally have the Chargers in the limelight is pretty cool, man. I'm not gonna lie. So during the whole show, I took a bunch of notes on stuff that I wanted to talk about. So here's your chance to come in here, talk with me a little bit about Hard Knocks episode 1. Before we get started, guys, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. Small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this video. All right, so episode 1. The first thing I got written down here regarding Coach Anthony Lynn. Turns out this man, in this unprecedented year, contracted COVID at some point. How crazy is that? Nobody had any clue. He kept it really close to the vest. And the kind of leader that Anthony Lynn is expressing, he's proving that he's the kind of human being that can overcome almost anything, right? And the way that he handled the news, the way he handled, not telling the media, keeping it very personal, I respect that, man. I'm really respecting Coach Lynn more and more every single year. And to hear that he overcame that and he's sharing that with his players was quite awesome. Next thing I have, the Chargers are taking it very seriously. Yeah, dude. So I think 2020, we watched so many seasons of Hard Knocks. I think all of us knew going into the season it was going to be very different because of what's going on this year. And I think the Chargers are very aware of this. Not to say that other teams are not, but in comparison, because yes, we're sharing this season with the Rams, it feels like the Chargers were not playing any games when it came to this. I think they know the consequences of, if they goof around, if they don't follow the rules, if they don't follow protocol, what could happen? And that could result in, players having to sit out 10, 14 days. It can really shift your season if you're not careful. So seeing the Chargers be so cautious, staying, so many feet apart, wearing the masks and stuff like that, it's very cool. It's very cool to see. It puts me at ease a little bit. Looking a little bit at the Rams too, it kind of shocked me, Jalen Ramsey's reaction. You guys see that interview that he was doing. They kept asking, they kept hounding him about his contract. What do you think? You want to get this done before kickoff, yada yada. And he walks out and he kind of throws a fit on camera. And that kind of tells me, he's going to get paid, man. He's going to get paid. And I've had so many thoughts and so many videos talking about how cool it'd be for him to come to Los Angeles, or to the Chargers in Los Angeles. And as cool as that would be, man, as awesome as that would be to have him play with Derwin James, I just don't know if it's going to be in our budget, man. This kind of put it in perspective for me. Jalen Ramsey is going to cost another, Joey Bosa. Maybe not quite as much as Joey Bosa, but probably in the range of like $14, $15 million a year. So I don't know. Maybe that happens sometime in the future, but not quite right now. Sean McVay's a goober. That's all I'm going to say. That's one of my notes there. And why are the Rams here? The Rams were just featured, like 3 or 4 years ago. I remember watching their season. I liked their season, with Coach Fisher and those guys. And it was kind of a train wreck, and it was fun to watch, and they had some success, years after that. But Sean McVay, he's a goober. And why are the Rams even here? Like I was saying, they just had a season. The Chargers just have so much more character, I feel. The Chargers have a lot more they're much more charismatic. They have, I don't know, I think I'm being biased here. I don't want the Rams fans to think, oh man, you're handing on the Rams fans. No, just the Chargers have a lot of swag, dude. And I feel like I really jive with the personalities. But again, I'm a Chargers fan. Bosa getting paid in this episode. Wow, dudes. How cool is it to get a firsthand look at what happened in those moments? Going in, Joey Bosa going and signing the contract, talking about his experiences and his emotions during that whole thing, because he is now the highest paid defensive player in the NFL, and that's quite the journey. And to see his, reaction, his interview he did with the camera after that, that was That was quite awesome. And it seems that he was surprised in the amount that he was getting paid too. So it shows that the Chargers organization has a tremendous amount of respect for him. And he's got a tremendous amount of gratitude towards the Chargers for paying him out. So that's awesome, man. I hope that, I'm sure he's going to let that spell out in the field, his gratitude coming up in 2020. And the emotional call with his dad that he shared. It seems that he got a little bit emotional during, telling the story of when his dad called him right after getting signed, which was pretty awesome. Seems that the team was stoked for him, and he talked about getting a boat, which was hilarious. You guys got to check it out. Again, guys, I hope I'm not spoiling anything for you guys. Please go watch the episodes before you watch these post-game or these post-show reactions, because it's definitely worth a watch the first time without being spoiled. Next up, Coach Lynn. Here's some juicy stuff. This is some stuff I was hoping to see in Hard Knocks. First-hand perspective of what we may be seeing actually in the 2020 season that actually pertains to actual football. Okay, Coach Lynn said that Tyrod Taylor is in the driver's seat, but Justin Herbert is improving every single day. And you kind of got to see that with him on the field. That little montage that we did with Justin Herbert, that was awesome. That kind of gave me tingles. I was so excited, dude. It's like, oh my God, Justin Herbert. He's the future of this team, and I'm starting to see proof of that. He also said that Justin may not sit the whole year, that it's a different kind of season. That Justin, it may not be one of those situations where he sits the entire season. So it sounds like Coach Lynn has plans to put Justin Herbert some point in during the season, which is super, super exciting. They are grooming this kid to take over at some point from Tyrod Taylor, is what it sounds like. But honestly, they're going to go with a hot hand. So if Tyrod's really, really good, they're going to stick with him. I put in my notes here, Justin Herbert is huge. He's a huge human being. But that's also really good. Watching him sling it out there. There's a little montage in there where they put up, a stationary target. It's like a ring that he's got to throw the football into. And honestly, a lot of quarterbacks could do this. No pressure. You've got the one target that's not moving. You're probably going to hit that, more times than not. We kind of saw this with, you guys remember that competition that Phillip Rivers used to have with Drew Brees that have this little relay course, trying to hit different targets and stuff like that. Kind of felt like that. But Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers didn't always hit their targets. Now, this is edited. It's a TV show, so there's probably a lot of edits and stuff in there. But from what I saw, Justin Herbert has some crazy, crazy good accuracy with no pressure. So I think our solution here is to make sure he has the best offensive line in football, and I think we're good to go. Next up, they talked a bit about the protests. They talked little bit about the movement going on. And I'm not going to get too political in this episode, okay? I understand there's different views and stuff like that from my community here in the channel. I respect all your views. But the camaraderie from the team, making different choices, having different perspectives, different walks in life, it was really embraced by the entire team. You know what I mean? There was just so much understanding of perspective from all these people. And if you guys watch, it was a Zoom interview, so all of them were on, a screen on the computer. They were talking about, their different backgrounds and their different views on protesting during the NFL season. And what really stood out to me wasn't the fact that, there was talk of protests at all. It was more of the reaction from the players and the support from one another, even if their views were different. And that's what it means to be on a football team, dudes. That almost made me a little emotional, honestly. That was awesome. Good for them. Our team has such chemistry. It's spilling out of their ears, dude. I really, really like that. The Chargers players are very unified. It was also kind of shocking to see a player that was diagnosed with COVID from the Rams. The Chargers so far seem to be pretty good. We're being very, very careful. But Terrell Lewis, rookie from the Los Angeles Rams, did contract, and kind of seeing what he has to go through during that is kind of tough, man. Like, can't play football, and they put him on a 10-day thing, I think, and I think likely it'll be longer if he doesn't, test negative at some point. So that was kind of interesting. That's something we got to pay attention to. Hopefully that's something that we don't run into later in 2020. The cuts. This is something that Hard Knocks has been infamous for. Getting a first-hand look at what it's like to be cut from an NFL team, what it's like for the coaches to have to break the bad news. A lot of these guys, they had to be done over the phone, and that sucks, man. Like, that's brutal. Like, getting fired over the phone. And basically, that's what these coaches have to do. They have to fire so many players every single year. That's tough, man. The look on these coaches' face. Coach Lynn, like, he kept saying, if somebody goes down, we're going to give you a call, our scheme and stuff like that. But, it's not easy because he's been spending so much time with these guys one-on-one. That's tough, man. And then getting to see probably like the highlight of the episode for me, not a highlight in a good way, but a highlight in like a shocking way, was Andrew Voller, our tight end. I think it was our 3rd or 4th string tight end, getting cut in this episode. It was super sad, dude. And he was heated, man. He comes in there. You gotta be effing kidding me, bro. Like, that's crazy. The man is passionate. Hopefully he lands, on another team, or maybe he has an opportunity to come back to the Chargers at some point. But it's kind of crazy to get that firsthand perspective of what happens when a player gets cut. Last couple of things I have on here is I have massive respect for Coach Lynn. He's talking about his experience during the pandemic, having COVID, what it was like on a human level to go through that. That was great to see. It really humanizes our coach. It really, I don't know. I have so much respect for Coach Lynn, man. Like, it really, every time I watch, so I used to watch a lot of the Backstage Chargers, was kind of like Hard Knocks, but, less production value. Just getting to know him as a coach, as a person, I have so much respect for him. And then the last thing I put on here is Zoom looks like a huge pain in the ass. Having to get on those meetings. You guys imagine, I'm sure a lot of you at your jobs and stuff like that, you have to get on Zoom meetings a lot. But with a whole football team, if you're just talking, like, let's say you're talking to your entire offensive line, you're talking to, your wide receivers or whatever. That's a lot of people on the same call, man. That's crazy. But I would say, guys, the first episode of Hard Knocks Los Angeles was awesome. I'm so excited for episode 2 next week. We got some good information in regards of Justin Herbert, Tyrod Taylor. I'm expecting to see more and more of this as the season goes on. I think they say it goes until September 8th, right before kickoff. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Let me know your guys' favorite moments from Hard Knocks episode 1 of Los Angeles, and we can talk about it a little bit more. If you guys want to talk more about it with me, make sure to join our Discord. There's a link in the description with that. You can come talk to me personally. There's a lot of Chargers fans in there that are really excited about this season of Hard Knocks, and it should be a good time. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been the Director. We'll see you next time. Bolt up and stay frosty.